Chapter 8, Pregnant with Purpose. Listen, I am presently 34 weeks, very pregnant with a purpose. So this imagery, when God brought this to life for me, I think this chapter was the fastest one I wrote because it just clicked. When we're thinking about relational intimacy as it parallels to spiritual intimacy, all of it makes sense, to me at least, when I realize that his invitation for us to intimately engage with him is never without fruit. I think I wrote in the book, true intimacy with God is potent and proficient at bearing spiritual fruit. So we talked about in Genesis 38, the story of Onan and how he spilled seed. That was a curse. It was sin. God is not one to draw near to us, to give, to receive, to engage with us in intimacy just to spill seed. No, he sows seed into our hearts, into our lives, and purpose, gifts, assignment. It all conceives within us and begins to gestate and begins to grow. Did y'all see the imagery through this chapter? It just makes so much sense. And what's so beautiful about that is that we are guaranteed when we will intimately engage with God, there will be fruit born forth. Now, this was a section that I hope you guys grabbed a hold of and thought about as it applies to your own life, that the abiding love results in us being made full in joy, that there is work then born of the Spirit. Purpose gestates in us, assignments of encouragement, generosity, leadership, mercy, prophecy, service, teaching. We see all of those shared in Romans 12. Works of apostleship, pastoral care, evangelism. We see all of that in Ephesians 4. Man, the unseen work, the underpraised work, the prayers of intercession, it's spoken of in 1 Peter 4. Gifts of administration, discernment, healing, tongues, wisdom, radical faith, words of knowledge, miraculous moves of the Spirit, 1 Corinthians 12. The Word of God is ripe and full with the beautiful evidence of fruit that is born of his Spirit. Now, the works of our flesh, they're actually likened to menstrual rags, so that gets a little nasty, but that's in the Word of God. But the works of our flesh, when we're doing things in our own power, in our own strength, that's where we end up on the rocking chair like I did with my baby, totally burnt out. But if we'll engage in intimacy with God, he conceives works born of the Spirit. And works born of the Spirit stand the test of time, the refining fire. Man, the Word talks over and over about how when our assignment, when our purpose, when the good fruit is born from our lives because it's come from a place of intimacy with God, that's when kingdom comes. That's when he builds his kingdom through our lives, rather than our own efforts and attempts to figure things out, work to build our own kingdom. So it leads me to a question for you, just one big question, as I also understand this one readily and am preparing myself to understand it again. If seed has been sown into us, if purpose, mission, ideas, activation has gestated and grown to full term. We talk in the chapter about it comes to the place where we have to labor and deliver that very work. And that's hard. That's really hard. In fact, if you've spent time in the intimate place with God and he's sown into you what he desires you carry out, there's almost always going to be spiritual opposition. There's always going to be a fight to the finish line, really. We see that in labor and natural labor that women carry out. Man, it's a process, but it's pain with purpose. My question to pose to you, just one simple question at the end of this chapter, is it worth it to you to not only intimately engage with God, but to press forward through the opposition, through the attack, through the challenges, through the labor pains that are required to bring that very dream he's written onto your heart to life. The end result is worth it. But very few women look forward to the labor and delivery. Do we believe that in our weakness he is strong and that he is going to bring forth powerful life if we'll press through and not grow weary and not shrink back, as the word says, when the process of laboring forth that call is hard? Some of you are there right now. Are you willing to press forward and to birth what he's sown into you?